Hi everyone, welcome back to Denise Knight-Divination. I am going to do your weekly astrological transits, and we're going from March 11th, Monday, March 11th through Sunday, the 17th. We have the moon traveling through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and ends the week with Cancer. But on the way, it joins up with Chiron in Aries, Jupiter in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus. And then we also have the Sun conjunct Neptune and Mercury conjunct the North Node towards the end of the week. So there's a lot going on. But anyway, let me just bring you over my table and get this started. I'll be right back. Okay, so for this week, I'm starting out with a 3 p.m. chart for Monday because there wasn't a whole lot of difference. The moon's still in Aries earlier in the morning. It's just closer to Mercury. So suffice to say that all Monday morning, it'll probably be pretty heavy with communication. A lot of people talking. Maybe something's coming out on the news, or maybe you just have people around you that are more talkative than usual. But the main thing I wanted to catch with this, with Monday, is that Venus moves into Pisces at 3 p.m. on this day. So that's Monday, March 11th, of course, in case you're just listening and not watching. But anyway, the flavor of this shift is, well, can be kind of like food-oriented. When Venus was in Aquarius, it had more, I think, of the flavor of looking at things from a broader perspective. It's an air sign. Aquarius is an air sign. It's all about, air signs are always about communication and curiosity and thinking more objectively. But now that Venus has moved into Pisces, now we're in a water sign. So we're more sensitive, we're more intuitive, we're more connected to our compassion. And, if you have a friend with a lot of natal planets in Pisces, they might be a little more moody, and that's okay. We all, that's just a human condition. Don't even worry about it. But do watch for the sensitivity when it comes to food, because Venus is definitely related to food. It's related to all things nurturing, and it can be related to, indulging. So things that maybe, if you've noticed over the last, just over the years, if you've gotten in touch with which foods are something you can have a little bit of, but not too much, or certain things to drink. If you're trying to give up soda, this would be the time to do it. I saw something on the news about like 2 cans of soda. Was it a week? Was it a week or was it a day? I can't remember. You guys would have to look it up. My brain's not holding it right now because I just want I never drink it. But, it's addictive. That's one of the things. And with Piscean energy and, with 4 planets here still, this could be a week where we learn what we're addicted to, and can we find a substitute instead of, having the soda? Like for my granddaughters who got hooked on it, I because kids do, they get it wherever they can. I turned them on to bubbly water with a little bit of stevia flavoring in it, but I still wouldn't let them have too much because, who knows about the stevia. But the stevia came in all these flavors like soda, like, Coke, Coca-Cola, root beer. They loved the root beer one. And they, came to love that when they came to my house. So there's, always a way to substitute. If you're looking to let go of something that's bad, you can go cold turkey, but it's easier if you wean yourself off and go towards a healthier substitute, right? So anyway, things like that with Venus in Pisces. Other things when Venus is in the sign of Pisces, because Pisces is so related to art and spirituality and music, any type of art, we can expect to see some heightened, beautiful things coming out. Maybe there are, albums, songs and albums dropped, people, working on artistic projects. Maybe they have been for quite some time. And now they're starting to come out into the public. That's the thing. Venus usually gets around the zodiac in about 1 year. So these could be projects that people were working on for an entire year. And especially the closer Venus gets to Saturn, we have 11 degrees of separation right now, but the closer it gets, the more I think we're going to see like concrete. Think of Saturn as being our planet of form. And in Pisces, we're talking about art. And with Venus, it doesn't blow things up, but it makes it better. It unifies something, finally brings things and people together. And then with Uranus and Jupiter would definitely be our planet of blowing things up. And, we're about... Yeah, we're over 6 degrees of separation there between Jupiter and Uranus, but I'm thinking that a lot of this transit, when this comes in, it won't happen. We won't get this exact conjunction until April 20th, but we're close enough. We're moving into that approaching energy, right? It's less than 10 degrees, and so for there. And this transit happens about every 14 years, pretty much, give or take. And I see Jupiter as being healing, expansion, protection, but it can be blowing things up. Definitely, we're seeing the wealthy get wealthier, the rich getting richer. We're seeing things like that. With Uranus, with this conjunction here, maybe some of them will be enlightened enough to say, you know what, I really need to give back more. Yeah. I mean, and I do see things on the news where they're making fun and saying, that they don't pay any taxes. I've been looking that up, and it's actually not true. They're always having to pay state tax, and they're always having to pay personal taxes. And they might not have as much federal taxes, but that would be because they'd be reinvesting it back into their company. Or, the ones that are guilty of this, which there are, paying their stockholders instead of, reinvesting it or putting it into the community. So I hope to see more money going into the community here. And with Mars squaring Uranus, I'm hoping that this brings through the awareness, more people, because Mars can move energy, and Aquarius is about all things humanitarian. So moving more energy out into humanity. But then over here, we've got the square to Uranus saying, you know what, we see you. Uranus is the planet of enlightenment. So we're talking, we see you. You might as well do something good for the people. Otherwise, we're just going to hold that as do we like seeing Jeff Bezos on with his yacht going around all over the place? Meanwhile, his ex-wife has donated billions out into the world because she got half because she helped him build Amazon way back in the day. Mackenzie, a brilliant woman, and she divorced his ass, and there we are. So anyway, with with Jupiter making its way towards Uranus, what we have going on here with this inconjunct hitting back at the south node and seeing, in Libra. So Venus rules Libra and Taurus, okay? And then we don't have an aspect right yet to Jupiter from Venus, but we do have the Venusian energy over here at the south node. So we are talking, the feminine, and we are talking relationships. And there is an adjustment based on the fact that, and we're going to, this will be here all week, this aspect, based on the fact that we want to see, well, when Jupiter connects to something, so now it's connecting to the past, and like I said, the feminine and relationships. Also, justice, fairness, equality. And so Jupiter brings together possibilities, brings together ways to expand, and it's very supportive. It can sometimes bring people together to create something that really, really helps, and I'm saying that because hopefully this will be a piece of or a way to describe the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction when it happens. For now, with this square to Mars, we're getting a glimpse as to what this may be about. And again, we want people to be more humanitarian. People who can give back, I think, should. Otherwise, why do they have, $1 billion, right? Nobody can ever use that much money in their lifetime unless they're spending it on ridiculous things like yachts and a big boat's one thing, but a yacht like that? So, and then imagine the homes they have as well, and then the private jets that are flying all the time wherever they want to go, and what that does to climate change. Jet fuel is super, super, super noxious, toxic into the stratosphere, into the atmosphere. It's one of the worst. So, we're seeing this here. We're seeing the excesses of the rich. This is going out. People are talking about it. And there might be some change in the future because Uranus is also our planet of change. It's our change agent. Now, when it comes to people saying they have money and they don't, like Mr. Trumpy, those things will be revealed as well via court proceedings, justice. So we can expect, I would say, politically this week on the news, we can expect to see either who loaned him money to post bonds or the fact that he can't get the money together. And, we'll see that because right now, I believe this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, when it happens in April, I think that it's going to have a lot to do with reversals of fortune or us being aware of who's abusing humanity just to make money, money over people. So, yeah, there's that. We've been in this lead up already, but now it's getting tighter and tighter, so it's time to start talking about it. And then on another level, too, this can be a bit of a blow up in reality testing for people who are crazy, people who have been under the spell of a cult leader. But for the most part, I think it's going to be good. I think it's good for revealing, getting the information out there that we need to know about who's abusing humanity, excuse me, and not, or mostly who is, probably, I would think. So, yeah. And you can look back in history and see what the dates were. I haven't done that, but that might be a nice little history project to look back and see. Just Google dates Uranus or Jupiter conjuncted Uranus or joined up with Uranus, however you want to put it in. Or you could just Google Jupiter conjunct Uranus dates in history. And that would be easy to do and wonderful to see. Maybe I'll do it later If you guys want to do it and drop it in the comments, I'll love you for that, as well as so many other reasons. And then back to what is connecting to the South Node. Remember, South Node always is the past. We have the trine to Mars. So again, the energy moving out there. Mars has everything to do with starting things or advancing things, organizing things, but it's based on relationships of the past, and it's with both of these being air signs. Aquarius can be very organizational, and then Libra is so relational. This could be a really good transit for, and it has been. It's been there. It's moving out of orb, but it's still there for the time being. And this, I would say, has probably been really good for making new friends and knowing who you can trust in relationship and who you can't. Chiron squaring the nodes, we've had that. See, Chiron's at 11, North Node and South Node are at 15. So this is an approaching T-square. And so this is going to be on for some time. I think I talked about it last week. I'm sure I did. But anyway, or maybe I talked about it I know I talked about it in Trump's, in that reading on the lunar eclipse in his chart. But for the rest of us, whether I talked about it or not before, I'm going to talk about it now. So a little refresher on Ceres. She's a dwarf planet, just like Pluto and Eris right here. So dwarf planets they're just as powerful as the regular planets. It's just that they're out further, and they were discovered later. So we have Ceres in the sign of Capricorn since February, and we will have it, staying. We'll have some retrogradation and all of that, but it won't move into Aquarius until December of this year. So we have quite some time. And in its first, we're into the second decan already with the 11 degrees. So, from the 0 to 9 degrees, we were, developing something. We're trying to bring things together. Now it has hit the aspect. It has an aspect. It's in aspect to the nodes. And the South Node always being the past, North Node always being the future. We could look at this and say we're in a challenge, because squares have to be, are always related to challenges. We're in a challenge to make decisions, to let go of relationships that don't help you be autonomous. With Capricorn, I feel there's so much around being, it's ruled by Saturn, and there's so much around being responsible. What are we creating? Are we in relationships with people that we can move forward with in ways that actually build something? Because now that we're moving into we're actually already in the second decan of the sign, we're talking about integrating something that we've been, some lesson we've been learning about the past, and will it hold you back in moving forward? So this is a great time for letting go of bad habits that keep you from working the way you want to work, or getting done what you want to get done, or building. Most of all, creating a structure that you're trying to build. Now, Ceres is our planet that has everything to do with food. Okay, so we're talking dietary stuff. What we buy and put into our homes, what we grow and eat, things like that. And it's also related to all the everything that a woman goes through in her reproductive life, all of her reproductive health. And Ceres is also related to our maternal imprint. So if you were raised in a home where you had parents who used food as punishment, you can't go to bed till you eat all your peas. Meanwhile, you already had enough protein and you're full. And or said you don't get dinner tonight because you said that bad word, or you know what I mean, things like that. Parents that have used food for punishment, either or reward, be good and you can have that ice cream. Who didn't grow up in a home like that, right? I didn't actually, thank God, but I had other food issues that, with schedule feeding as a baby. So I had my food issues to heal. I still work on that. But when it comes to so food's one issue. What's another issue with Capricorn that would keep us from being able to build something based on a maternal imprint? Capricorn can be very, very challenging for kids who've been neglected. If you had a heavy Capricorn experience growing up, you might have had parents who were, maybe you were a latchkey kid, and parents who weren't able to be home for some reason or another. And if you are one of those parents who had to go through this with your kids, please don't beat yourself up around it, because I don't know, I believe we choose our parents for all the good, bad, and the in-between. But anyway, if you say you're sorry because you knew that now that you know, you wish you could have done it different, but you couldn't at the time or whatever, most kids will always go, you know what, Mom, I understand. Or, you know what, Dad, you did the best you could. So don't beat yourself up about anything. But this would be more like looking at your maternal parental imprint. And maybe you didn't have a mom there. Maybe you were raised by your dad. Maybe you were raised by a single dad. He was your mom and dad. But he had to go to work, or a parent, both parents, maybe who had to work outside the home the entire time, 2-3 jobs, things like that. So there's a hallmark here around looking at the past in a fair, objective way, but moving forward in a new way that can free you up from the maternal imprint, whatever it was. But again, when it comes to Capricorn, it would be parents who worked really hard or didn't use their ability to work and were very irresponsible and narcissistic. And the pain with the children can be just not being respected and feeling overlooked, actually being overlooked and neglected. So, and the last thing with Capricorn that irks me is people who care too much what the neighbors think and just want to stay with the status quo and not break free. With Pluto and Aquarius, we're all breaking free. So I'm not worried about that. Although we are going to have a little sojourn back to Capricorn in September. So there's that. But meanwhile, we just keep breaking free and do the best we can to work this T-square the best, to get the best energy out of it. We're talking being in integrity, financial integrity, energetic integrity, separation from materialistic ways that we used to be so attached to, thinking that you have to have this in order to whatever, you know what I mean? I'll let you guys fill in the blanks. So, okay, so I think that's probably pretty good with Venus to Pisces, except for we do have this little semi-square. See how Venus is at 0 degrees and then Mercury is at 3 degrees. So we've got this tight semi-square there. So there's going to be some action that needs to be taken because you're thinking in new ways. And I think it would have to do with like understanding that you're more sensitive than you ever were. And so that's where I was talking about the, the change in dietary things, changes in ways to care for yourself in a much better way. And then again, I have to say it again, we still have all this Piscean energy here, even though the moon is in Aries. All this Piscean energy is still to protect your feet. I've been saying that to you guys for the last few weeks, and then I went and hurt my foot last week, and came down off of a ladder the wrong way, and yeah, that wasn't smart. So anyway, yeah, I was screwed up for about 3 days. I had ice packs and everything else. So thank goodness it went away. But Pisces rules the feet, and it rules dancers. So be careful dancing if you're dancing in the living room or moving furniture, like Lisa was saying last Saturday on your live stream. on our live stream, she said, "Don't move furniture in your flip flops." That is great. Oh, I was thinking more of like chopping up vegetables, with flip flops on. Because it's easy to drop a knife, right? You always like, can you jump back that fast is the thing. So yeah, so many things, our digits, feet and hands, toes, fingers are so, they can just be so painful, and they're so necessary. You take things for granted. So yeah, okay. I think I'll get off of the Piscean thing there. We don't have the conjunction yet between Venus and Saturn, but like I said, I do feel that this is very good for all forms of art and spirituality. And the sun moving 1 degree closer every day to Neptune. But at the end of the week on Sunday, we're going to see Sun conjunct Neptune. I have that chart. And there you go again with more power, the power of the sun to shine the light, to bring energy into spirituality, into anything that you have been devoting yourself to, that it's big, much bigger than you've ever thought of doing. Neptune can also help to dissolve false beliefs. This Sun conjunct Neptune coming in can bring through so all week, think of that, all week, it's very possible that you can have Dreamtime guidance or meditation guidance, or just walking around the house doing nothing or driving, and you get guidance about false beliefs that you have. You start thinking in a different way, because remember, Pluto in Aquarius is going to bring things up that it'll bubble up. Things will bubble up from the subconscious and the unconscious, and you'll go, hey, wait a minute, is that really true? And then you might start looking at things and questioning your beliefs from all different angles, and find things that aren't true. They were actually something that it was just a part of mass consciousness, or something your parents, put in there, right? Like you always have to eat your peas and your green beans, and you've always wondered why you hate peas and green beans, things like that. And maybe they're not so bad. I just thought bacon. I can't eat bacon, but put bacon in it. Oh, the atrocities that we can do with food. My goodness. Even chocolate dipped bacon. Have you heard of that? Oh, God. I can't say out loud what my granddaughter said about that, my oldest granddaughter, but anyway, I'm just going to let that go. So, again, back to the indulging in enormous, food, culinary sources. And then Neptune being source energy, we're having to look in bigger ways as to, well, okay, yeah, everything is out there, but should I be taking everything in, right? And again, with Saturn in Pisces here, we're learning to have healthy, strong boundaries about not taking some things in and saying no. Yeah. So, I'll let go of all of that, and I'll talk about that a little bit more probably from a different angle when we get to Sunday's chart. So, but today, like I said, Mercury and the moon together during the day. Now, by the afternoon, you can see it's 10 degrees. By this 3 p.m., it's at 10 degrees of separation, so it'll start calming down. But there's a lot of communication about new things. And because the moon and Mercury, but mostly the moon right now, is headed towards the North Node, it's more of a focus on the direction you want to go. And in Aries, it's all about moving forward on an instinctual basis, where it's not something you think about. You will later with Mercury, but just be careful about being impulsive, especially when it comes to a relationship in the past. Take a pause before you commit to anything is my guidance here, because Libra, the south node of Libra energy, wants to please. It wants to stay connected. But then later on, you might realize, oh, I just really can't do it. I just don't have the time to do it. I want to, but I can't. And then to say no when you already said yes to someone can be very painful for them and for you. So be careful there. That's my guidance for this little episode here. And that's because the moon will also hit Chiron. And this will be good later on. Well, let me go ahead and move to Tuesday, because I think we're already there. Yeah, that's it. So here by Tuesday, 6 a.m., so not even 24 hours later, we've already had the moon cross over the North Node in Chiron, and now it has it's bumping up against Eris. So this transit here with the moon in Aries crossing over all of those points and planets, we're dealing with the opportunity to work with, process through our deepest wounding, and bring through more of our greatest gifts. So if you have any wounding around abandonment, like I always say, feel the pain, but don't abandon yourself. If you go into the pain and you feel your pain, you will not be abandoning yourself. Let yourself grieve. If you have wounding around other people being impulsive with you, or you being impulsive and getting yourself into predicaments that you didn't have to go through if you could be more patient. Well, the moon's headed towards Taurus, so there's, you'll have that later, but these are the issues that are on the table, right? So be brave with Eris here, because the moon conjunct Eris this morning. Be brave and just sunk into that feminine side of you that says, you know what, I should be equal. Because Eris is all about the feminine struggle for equality. And I'm 24, 21, yeah. So we do have the sextile to Mars, so there's movement there. Same thing with the moon, yeah. Okay, so major opportunities here to move forward in new ways of thinking and new ways of reinventing yourself, and being more like reforming things in your life, because Aquarius can be the reformational type of you can put yourself out there in a new way. It can help you to network with other people that can help you reinvent yourself. It can help you communicate in a new way that is more courageous with the connection to Eris here. But it's coming from equality. And it's not just, doesn't have to just be the feminine. We're talking about LGBTQ rights. We're talking about anything that's different than the old status quo. And so this can be a very busy day because Aries always brings, and look at this stellium here, always brings through something new that can help us move forward and assert our individuality most of all. And if we play the energy right, we can create win-win situations rather than it being us versus them, or me versus them. Aries can be me, and Libra can be them, the other, the relationship. But the deal here with with Chiron in that connection still, it can be that just if you're present with yourself and if you're present with the other, there can be major breakthroughs. The oppositions can bring through a huge breakthrough. So if you're, or in all of the relationships that you're in, as you're in them, if you can be fully present, and at least notice when you're not. Like, it's really easy to say, hold on, say that again, please, because I just went somewhere and I was really there. I'm sorry, but say it again. I didn't hear all of that. And people usually don't mind repeating themselves at all. I mean, because we all do it. It's so easy to just suddenly veer off in something else, and or get distracted by someone else. So I think it's a person will always appreciate you saying, wait, please say it again because I really want to hear you. And we have that, if you can have that courageous energy to do that, be very, very present in relationship, this is a great day for it. We also have, notice how Jupiter's moved forward a little bit there, just noticing that. We also have, with all this Aries stellium here, it's fire energy. It's a that movement forward. And then with Mars in Aquarius, again, all of that movement, fire and air are very compatible together, which is why we have the sextiles here. So the opportunities to move forward quickly. But sometimes Aries is, 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. That's a normal part of Aries. So go slow if you can, as long as you're really present. But don't, if something's coming up instinctually, let yourself go with it. If you're called to curiously investigate something or research something, go for it. Or at least write a note down. Take a note and then, investigate it later. At least. Let's see, what else? Yeah, Ceres squaring the nodes. Saturn. Ooh, look at this exactly here. Ceres is in a sextile to Saturn. And within minutes anyway. Or an exact sextile within minutes. So remember, sextiles are always opportunities. So there's an opportunity, again, to heal that maternal imprint. And if anything comes up around, grieving, losing a parent, that wouldn't surprise me. And, grief work is good work. There is nothing wrong with grief work. It's freeing. It's good. On another level, with Ceres in the sextile to Saturn, that we could be building something that came from all the good parental, especially maternal imprints. This can be that very spiritual connection that we have with our mothers, whether they're still with us or not. And this can be support here to build that. Saturn, I don't see it as so much of a wall and a delay. It can be a delay, but within Pisces, I think those walls are breaking down. Walls are dissolving around what Saturn really means. I always feel like Saturn is about mastering something. When I look at a natal chart, I look to see where Saturn is, and I mean, you can look at it as the dad or karma. I look at the whole chart as karma, but there's positive and challenging. Karma is nothing more than the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect stems from a person's belief system. So, that's the way that I see to look at it. And I look at Saturn as where we are trying to master something, like whatever house it comes through. That's an area of life that we're decided that we wanted to master that area. So mastering wherever Saturn is in your chart, just look at that house and you can question yourself, like how well am I doing in this area of my life, whatever house it's in. But in aspect here, you can see that Saturn's at 11, and it's in a sextile over here to Jupiter. So we have an approaching, we're working up to an exact sextile here. So there's the opportunity between these two planets, so Saturn and Jupiter are the builders of the zodiac. So of course, Jupiter makes it around the chart pretty much in 1 year. Stays 12 years, stays in one sign for 1 year. So Jupiter moves much faster than Saturn. Saturn, is like 28 years to get all the way around, 28 and a half. And 2.5 to 3, it's 3 years this time with Saturn in Pisces. We have it from, when did we start with Saturn? Saturn moved into Pisces, I can't even remember when it was, 2023. Yeah, that's right. It was early 2023, and it moves into Aries later May in 2025. But then it's going to retrograde back into Pisces for a little bit, and it won't be completely in Aries to stay until mid-February 2026. So there's that. So, let's use this time to build these spiritual foundations. And we have Jupiter there. We're talking monetary needs, Jupiter expanding the way you make money, the things that bring you pleasure, the things that can bring more positive pleasure and bliss into your life, the things that make you feel more safe because you're creating to your stability. This is like opening up, Saturn in Pisces, opening up all possibilities to, and Jupiter opening up as well. Like Jupiter opens up and then Saturn lays the foundation. So we're talking anything that brings in more stability and more safety. So be very patient with yourself. And with Jupiter and Taurus, that's probably easier than ever. But we need it especially with all this Aries energy. Okay? So yeah, let's see, anything else? I'm not going to mess with that sesquisquare. Let's go to Wednesday. So Wednesday, 6 a.m., the moon has made it towards, close enough to where we have a conjunction. Every hour that goes past, we're going to have the moon getting closer and closer to Jupiter. So the moon brings in the mood of the public. It brings in, and in Taurus, I should have said this. When the moon was in Aries, it's all about the head. Okay, so you have to be careful with headaches. When the moon's in Taurus, it's about the neck and the throat. So you want to be careful there with your neck. You want to be careful with, keeping your posture good. And, but anyway, so with Taurus, though, we're in that, it's that mood of wanting to be more secure and safe and stable that I was talking about before with Jupiter. But now it's even bigger because the mood will be bigger touching Jupiter when we get there. And because the moon is also, the Jupiter is still in this inconjunct to the south node that I was talking about before. There's relationships, and so we've got a lot of Venusian energy here, even though Venus is in Pisces. Venusian energy that wants to, again, be safe and stable and in union, right? Venus likes to unify things. Venus doesn't like arguments. Venus likes things that flow, right? And it's known for Libras and Taurus signs are known for their good, usually for artists and singers. Singers, Taurus, artists, Libra, both are very artistic. And any person with a lot of Taurus or Libra that I've known are very artistic. And so with the moon getting closer to Jupiter, there's going to be more and more about that. I wonder if something may be released out into the public. Again, like I said earlier, something from the past that someone's been working on for a long time. Yeah, let's see, what else? With the trine, we've got 2 trines off of Ceres. Again, all this energy early in the week to heal our maternal imprints. The environment that we grew up in, whatever needs to be healed from that is on the table. And there's a lot of fast-moving energy that can really bring through the healing. Jupiter being so related to healing, and then the maternal imprint up here. I did hear on the news that France has codified into their constitution abortion as legal. Legal abortion is a constitutional right in France now. And this is one of those themes with Pluto moving through Aquarius, because the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was between 1777 and 1798. And remember, that's when there was the French Revolution and monarchy went down. That was a terrible time for the monarchy. And so I guess they've come full circle and have changed that. And, being those years too, I think, wasn't Uranus discovered in 1777? I think so. I'd have to look that up. But I thought that was when they could see it through the telescope. And so again, I know it was it was considered the age of enlightenment. So that's interesting. So that with the moon there and Jupiter and Uranus, that's what kind of brought me back to those ideas. But mostly healing the maternal imprint, healing women's reproductive rights. There's something maybe that comes through. Boy, we sure need it here. Maybe it has to do with the IVF. I think they're working on that already, like making that, keeping the government out of that. It's ridiculous. Have the government in any part of a woman's body. God. Okay, so let's see. Let me make sure with these other aspects. There's a lot of semi-squares. So action. Yeah, it looks like a very active day. Let's go ahead to Thursday. So Thursday, I left it at 3 a.m. so we could see how the moon, so no matter how, probably anytime you get up, the moon will be close to Uranus, and at 3 a.m., well, it might be on the other side, but by 3 a.m., the moon has moved past Jupiter, and now it's conjunct Uranus. So if you wake up with some divine guidance, it's a lot of times, like when your guides really want to get through to you, they'll drop in something right before you wake up, and so that you remember it. So if you get something like that, write it down. Write it down. I remember getting guidance about how to read astrology, because back in the days when I was studying it, so many books were written from just fear. Like Saturn was all bad and Neptune was just all delusional and crazy. And Mars was always about war, So I remember taking all the books that I bought back to this Psychic Eye bookstore and saying, do you have a return program or something like that? And they're like, we sure do. You get 10% of whatever you spent in store credit. So that's when I went and bought some tarot cards. But anyway, I got rid of all my books, and I told God, I told the universe, if you want me to study astrology or talk about astrology, or this is like in the early 90s, if you want me to read charts, whatever, you teach me. And so I started getting Dreamtime guidance, and that's when I'll never forget that. That one morning I woke up hearing the ascendant magnetizes. And I never read that in a book before, but then when I started looking at it, it made so much sense, right? People would always talk about it. Astrologers would always say it's the personality, it's what we present. I think the personality, what we present, is over here on the descendant, because it has to do with relationships. But the ascendant is what we're magnetizing. And then we have the progressed ascendant. When I do people's transits, you want to look at the progressed ascendant because it shows what they're, it moves 1 degree a year of your life. It shows what you will be attracting. What you magnetize is what you're attracting. What you're attracting has to do with who you are. As you grow and heal and evolve, it changes. So, of course, the progressed ascendant is very, very important in the natal chart, or in the looking at transits. So, anyway, sorry, that was a little squirrel moment, but it reminded me when I saw this moon conjunct Uranus. Just moon, think of dream time, think of connection, think of guidance, and then Uranus is intuitive, divine guidance. And it can be kind of shocking sometimes. I mean, that shocked me to like, what? The ascendant magnetizes. Oh. So there you are. It can be some other shocks, reversals of fortune that we see out into the public with Mars and Aquarius. Remember, Mars is just pumping out into the news cycle in Aquarius, everything to do with humanity and freeing the opportunity. It's always this divine Uranus, Aquarius. It's always this divine opportunity to free ourselves from the past. The only way we can screw it up is if we're detached from the heart, if we're not in our love, if we're not grounded in our bodies, if we're too much in our head, if we're, sometimes people just being so opinionated and saying something just because it's funny, but it's superficial, and then you realize, ooh, that could hurt somebody. That's it's rebellion that's not healthy, I guess. So, yeah. There could be something like that with this double square coming in early in the morning. But I hope for you guys, it's divine guidance that comes through at the last minute when you're waking up and you can't forget, you can't miss it. Might be a challenge to write it down. Maybe we need to keep a journal next to our bathroom, in our bathroom, so you run to the bathroom to go pee, and you got to write it down, like, because otherwise you're like, oh, do I go pee or I write it down? And then you got to go pee. You go pee and then you forget it. Wait, what was that? Okay, journal by the toilet. Helpful hints here. Okay, what else? Chiron is moving forward. That's nice. It's almost at 18 degrees there. So while Chiron's in Aries, we are really integrating, at the second decan here, we're really, really integrating some major life lessons when it comes to how important we are and how much we matter, and how much relationships matter to us. When Chiron moves into Taurus, it's going to be much more stabilizing. But then again, it can bring up people's issues, survival, fears that are very valid. I'm not going to, put down any of that. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. You can see the sun is 1 degree closer. We are now in that 3 degrees of separation. So the sun conjunct Neptune is going to bring through every day more and more the ability to have some power in letting go of the things that we don't need to hold on to anymore. There may be moods that come up that are good to listen to because they're very intuitive. We are going to be more and more sensitive than ever. We don't have any aspects today there. Let me go, let's do this just for fun. Let's go to like 9 a.m. and then, oh, there's 10. Well, good enough. See how the moon is still close enough to Uranus. Now we have the moon in a sextile up to the sun. And of course, with the infusion of source energy coming from Neptune and Pisces, Taurus and Pisces, oh, bliss. If you can today, go share a yummy meal with someone, or go get a massage, or anything else that makes your body just feel so good. This will be a great time for it. Lovely. Let's see, Jupiter still in the trine to Ceres, of course. That's going to be lasting for quite a while. And also the inconjunct to the south node. So that combo there speaks to, again, healing the maternal imprint, and but their connection to the past and relationships. Within understanding your maternal imprint, you will also understand, if you want to look at it that way, and you can look at it from either angle, but the angles are relationships that you attracted in order to heal your maternal imprint, and you can enter that healing opportunity from either side, because this is all of these aspects are in your natal chart. Okay, all of these transits are hitting planets in your natal chart. That's why it's always good to know what's going on, and you can overlay it with into your chart and look at your opportunities. So let's see. The Ceres is now in a double square to. It's within orb of Mercury, and so the North Node has always been there, or not always, but with this transit, it's been there. I talked about it already, but now Mercury, because Mercury moves so darn fast, now it's within orb, so we're thinking more quickly. And both of these signs are cardinal, so this is movement-oriented energy. So is Libra. The cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So when I say cardinal, just think movement towards healing and having more strength in the way your mind works instinctually. If your mind is connected to your healthy instincts, you've got like divine movement going on in your body. All right? So that's lovely. I like seeing that. I just talked about Ceres, the sextile Saturn there. Okay. You know what? With that combo there, another little piece, there's an opportunity to heal dad issues as well because of Saturn. Okay, let's go to Friday. So 4 a.m. brings the moon into Gemini. So it would be the same case if it were 3 or 2, or you know what I mean? So if you get up early, well, no, it doesn't matter. Whatever time you get up, Friday morning, the moon will be in Gemini. So now there's more curiosity. There's more that need to think outside the box, or wanting to think outside the box. And it's also wanting to think more deeply, too, because we have this trine to Pluto. So this might be good for having some dream time. If there's anything scary or like fear-based in your dreams, this, some guidance could come in about that. It could show you what your real fears are, that needs to be worked through. And then we have those 3 squares. Ceres has moved forward 1 degree, so it's, like I said, still there, connected to in a square to the North Node. But Chiron it's now within 5 degrees there, so Chiron's involved. So, like I said, deeper wounding, inner conflicts, all of those things are up for healing with Chiron. Mercury connected there. It's all about healing the parental imprint. It's, really strong. Yep. Everything else is the same. I'm just going to focus on the moon. So, okay, Gemini traits have to do with, like I said, communication. It can be seeing things from an objective point of view. In the first decan of the sign, we're learning and thinking about how to develop something new, usually, but through communication and curiosity to look at things from different angles. And it can help, connect you with other people, with friends, things like that, or somebody just to have an awesome conversation with. And it could be a deep conversation this morning with a connection to Pluto. Yeah, I think that's it. There is a little semi-square here, though, to over to Chiron. So it would be about, thinking about what your deepest conflict is, your deepest inner conflict, and and healing. Also, because the gifts in Aries, the deeper gift because Chiron is always about the deepest wound and the deepest gift. The wound is on top of the gift. When you work through the wounding, the gifts come out. The gifts in Aries have to do with being a little more courageous and asserting yourself. So that's good. So it could be that there is some new action that's taken because you understand in a better way what your deeper gift is that's coming through. I love that. Okay, Saturday, the moon, of course, here is still in Gemini, but it's at 18 degrees, and it is in an aspect that I call the aspect of the architect, where we have a sextile and a trine. So the sextile is off of the north node, and the trine is coming off of the south node. So again, there's something, and with the moon being in the second decan, there's something that you're integrating that is really good, and it's going to help you put yourself out there because there's connection coming, and this is approaching. So every degree, every hour the moon moves forward, this trine to Mars, the movement-oriented energy of Mars, that can help you network. Gemini and Aquarius are, the air signs that help you. Well, actually, the other air signs over here in Libra. So the three air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and they're all very, so Gemini's communicative, Libra is socializing, relationship, and then Aquarius is networking. So we don't have an exact, air trine going on here, but we do have a double trine. So I like that. Let's see. Yeah, so great day for networking, a great day for still a great week for working through the maternal imprint. And could be parental imprint, could be both mom and dad, that you're working through things. Notice how Venus is getting closer to Saturn. Like I said, it will, and we're definitely within that 1 degree. Tomorrow we have the exact conjunction of the Sun and Neptune, but we only have a connection to another planet from the Sun. Neptune doesn't make any aspects to other planets. And so the Sun has this little tiny semi-square down here to Jupiter. So that would bring in feeling like you want to expand, you want to go towards more pleasure, you want to heal something in your body maybe, you want to bring in more pleasure and more bliss in your body. And maybe now you know the ways to do it because maybe you've hooked up with some friends who said, hey, why don't you try this? So, okay, let's go ahead and go to Sunday. Now we have the Sun exactly conjuncting Neptune at 4:22 a.m. Pacific, March 17th. And now we actually have, because the moon has moved into Cancer, we have a connection off of those two planets. So the square here, so the moon in Cancer is bringing in the ability to, well, the want to grow, the wanting to connect the dots in ways that keep you safe, right? We want stability and security with Taurian energy, and we gather information as to how to do that usually. And then by the time we, with the moon in Cancer, we have that quality, that energy coming through in ways that can help you handle yourself in public. It can straighten things out at home, and straighten things out with the women in your life, or the feminine energy in your life, because the moon rules all those things. And it's also could be a really good time for like planting seeds, getting things growing of any nature. And then but the square over to the Sun and Neptune, the only challenge, well, no, I shouldn't say the only challenges I see with it, it could be if you feel so hypersensitive for any reason that you feel kind of paralyzed, because there's a lot of energy here when the Sun hits Neptune. And so Neptune outside, doesn't matter what sign it is, the sun will be shining a light on where we are the most sensitive, where we need to dissolve something that is maybe we've been numbing out, because Neptune is about numbing out, or something that is numb. Where we've been, the sun will shine the light on with Neptune where we have been just resigning ourselves. And we just can't, I just can't even, right? Like, can't deal with it. Well, the square with the moon in Cancer, you might want to deal with it, because we've got cardinal energy here. There's that need for movement, and the movement with Cancer is always about your home, your roots. It's your intuition, it's your psychic abilities, it's your emotional security. It's wanting to, protect yourself and protect your family and your home. And it usually doesn't let go. Cancers are known for being tenacious and not giving up. Now, if you're in a relationship where you've been holding space, trying to protect someone who's just been in a tremendous amount of toxicity because of drugs or alcohol, or because they're addicted to the negativity on the news, or they're addicted to, because they're in a cult, basically, this would bring up that need to take a time out from that relationship or cut it off. There's a test here. Squares bring in decisions and tests. And we're stronger after the test, usually, or not. It all depends on what your decision is and how you handle it. It's never a bad thing to say no when you've been sucked down the rabbit hole. Because Piscean energy on the downside is known for victimhood and being all over the place. And they won't take responsibility for what's going on in their own lives. So you have to be very careful about that. On the good side, if you don't have any of that going on in your life, this can be some decisions that you make today, especially this morning, that have to do with a way to nurture your imagination, nurture all the visions, all of the great ideas coming through when you let yourself play. Cancer is all about play. I'm hearing Cyndi Lauper's "Girls Just Wanna Have Fun." So it might be one of those days where you wake up and you go, damn, I haven't had any fun all week. I really need to, how could I let myself go by? I make sure I have fun every day. But, yeah, it's taken me 70 years just about to get here, right? So, so anyway, have fun, play, bring in the bliss. Nobody can bring in bliss like Pisces, okay? Uh, let yourself be devoted to having fun. Let yourself be devoted to patting yourself on the back for the fact that you are very sensitive. If you have any planets in Pisces, you're getting hit with all of these, so you might as well enjoy it. And you can see that we have, my goodness, Mars and Venus here trining the moon as well. So it's a waning trine coming off of Mars, but that to me tells me that there was some information that came through intuitively. And now Venus with the trine wants to, as the moon moves by 1 degree or so every hour, I think it's about an hour and a half, but what happens is that with Venus here, you can really, unify something that is beautiful and very, very helpful. And with Venus and Saturn, oh yeah, right there, only, 5 degrees apart, we're dealing with, it's getting tighter and tighter. Like I said, next week will be all about Venus conjunct Saturn, and that will bring together some very solid ways to have more of the things that you really want in life, because Venus is all about what do you want and how do you get it. Mars helps us understand our motivations, but Venus is there, right? It's like the feminine, counterpart to the masculine Mars, and it takes both, And in the spirit world, there is no separation between the masculine and the feminine. In the spirit world, the feminine is energy that receives, and the masculine is consciousness and energy, that gives, moves forward, and we can't do one without the other. But it's not separate. Right? It's just not separate. So, let's see, anything else? Pluto in conjunct the moon, there's an adjustment because something came through intuitively from both ends that can help you with your, help you bring more power into your intuitive faculties, help you to be more protective of the power of the energy that you give and receive. Because remember, Pluto always brings things up into the light. Things bubble up from the unconsciousness, and it helps to eliminate things that are disempowering. It helps to cleanse parts of your soul that have not been, as empowered as you could be. Helps you to evolve, literally. And Pluto's linked to, that transformation that no human can get away with, without. We don't get away without transforming. We're going to, like with Pluto, I used to say, we're going to go kicking and we can either go gracefully and getting our lessons, or we can go kicking and screaming and getting a little bloody along the way. It's not fun that way. Pluto's linked to rebirths. So there can be literally a rebirth, an adjustment to your emotional body because you've rebirthed and you're not the same person anymore. It doesn't happen very often, but you can go through a rebirth in the same body, so you don't have to leave this incarnation and come back, to get a deeper lesson. You don't have to. Think all the time that's wasted when you do that. You got to get new parents, and you got to get to be about 30 and have your first Saturn return, and whoa, Nelly, right? So, rebirth, evolution, obsessions. There might be a little bit of an obsession for safety that keeps you kind of stuck in fear. Get up and move around if that happens. You can be by yourself all day if you're having that come up, but question what that's about. Pluto is also related to things that are sometimes kind of extreme. So maybe there's something that comes out on the news about how the government is, disempowering women, and there may be something even more extreme, because they're coming after contraception. They're coming after birth control. You know that, right? I mean, we know that. So there could be something that comes out between Saturday and, early Sunday morning. Because Pluto's so, a lot, it's usually related to influences of like mass consciousness that's out there. Neptune would be more like the unconscious, but we do have the wise unconscious. We do have source energy that is very wise, and you don't know it till you know it. Let's see, anything else with this? Nah, I think that's it. I think no, I've talked about that already. We're good there. The last thing I'll just say is, take action on your dreams here. Take action on all of the things that you want to grow in life, because the energy's here for it. And for me, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. I'm almost at 10,000. And it always helps when you give my videos a thumbs up. So, okay. I hope you have a wonderful week, you guys. Bye.